Motion by Betty, seconded by Sharon.
All right, thanks, Mr. Chairman. We'll kind of tag team this for you tonight. So, if you recall, we approved, or you awarded a bid for the first phase of the ring road project at the jail. You've appropriated funds for all three phases, but so far we've only bid the first phase out. As we talked about at Executive Committee 2 weeks ago, once the concrete was removed, we found what we have frequently found when we've done, say, the parking lot in the front of the administration wing at the jail and other parts of the ring road, that the base and sub-base that was used when it was all constructed back in the 80s was, let's say, substandard. And found when the contractor did the demolition of the existing concrete. And so this change order, based on feedback that we got at the Executive Committee 2 weeks ago, is for $84,619. This will not. This will has added cost of removing that subbase and replacing it with new subbase, and then increasing the thickness of the concrete pavement that will be going back in, and that will extend the life of the ring road, so we won't have to come back and do this. It'll be a much longer period of time with proper maintenance before we have to replace that ring road again. This time it was from the mid 80s until now, so 40 plus years, or about 40 years. So ideally it's that or better. So we've got both Calvin and Bob Eunice in the audience tonight, so if board members have questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Where are we going to pay for this change order? This change order is going to come out of that total appropriation you had for all the ring road projects. So that just means that we'll true up with through the budget process annually. We'll make sure that there's proper funding for phase 2 and phase 3. So any of us are happy to answer any questions you might have.
First of all, you've been awfully good about explaining different things to me, but in reading this again, I got to thinking, and I know that's dangerous, but anyway, the sub-base, what caused it to deteriorate? Did we have a water problem?
So it was definitely, I think Calvin and Bob can talk to it, and I'll let them do that, but I think from my perspective, yes, the material was wet when the concrete was removed, and it's not because it was or wasn't raining that day, it just was wet. It's also, I think if you look at it, there's a fair chance that some of that base, instead of being good, clean material when the ring road was originally built, there's a 50-50 chance that some of that material was excess backfill material or excavation material from when we either built the original jail in '85 or the addition along with the juvenile detention center in '97. So maybe not the best material that you could have used in the original construction. But I think that's what my supposition is. I think it'd be better to hear from Calvin and or Bob to either prove me right or prove me wrong. And
the reason I asked that, probably, I'm going to say 35 to 40 years ago when I was working for Peoria Blacktop, we did an area over off of Ridgewoods in which we had some water problems, and it was a street right by there by Jameson School, and they got a material called Typar, I think, and they put it down. In fact, I drove it today just to see if if there was a lot of problems back in that area where we put this type R down. And I could see that they had done some patching and so forth, whether it was because of the still some wetness in that area, but there's not been a major job, I think, on that particular street, because I do live right there in that Forest Hill subdivision, and I could easily walk to it, but I didn't. I drove my car over there just to take a look at it. And sometimes, I'm not saying it would be cheaper for us to put this down. I'm absolutely will be voting to do what is recommended by our staff and engineers and so forth. But I just thought if it was a wet spot, but this is probably far more an extended area than what this particular street was.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have Bob Udis and Rich Dotson from Midwest Engineering here, both to answer any questions that you may have.
The only other question I have is reading this about this corrugated metal pipe, and it says Midwest is reaching out to our Illinois Department of Transportation regarding who has jurisdiction for the CMP pipe crossing there on Maxwell. Could this be another cost to us?
Well, that's what we need to determine. The two inlets on the entrance to the jail are concreted to the manhole itself. From the manhole that crosses Maxwell is the CMP line. We are in the process of trying to determine on who's got access to that ownership.
Thank you, Calvin. Anybody with any other questions? All right, I'm going to call a vote on this resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Ayes have it. And we'll move on to anything else that we have. We don't have too much left. We got any public comment? How about miscellaneous? Then this meeting is adjourned.